Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on what I think is a truly fascinating journey. We're diving deep into the best practices for SAP Business Technology Platform. SAP BTP.
Yeah.
Think of this as your essential shortcut, sort of, to understanding how the most effective organizations plan, set up, develop, and operate their applications on this powerful, well, kind of sprawling platform.
It is a pretty comprehensive guide we're navigating today, yeah.
Mhm.
And our goal is really to cut through some of that complexity. We want to show you how thoughtful planning, robust structures, and, continuous attention aren't just good ideas. They're how you actually transform data into genuine business value.
Right.
And rapidly build and extend your SAP applications. And what's particularly insightful, I think, is that we're looking at a truly integrated offering here. It spans everything from database management and app development right up to analytics and intelligent technologies.
And as we peel back the layers, I promise we're going to uncover some real aha moments. You'll see how seemingly complex technical structures are actually designed to, well, streamline operations and ensure high availability.
Definitely.
And for me, some of those surprising insights come around who's truly responsible for what and what it really takes to build a resilient system in the cloud.
That shared responsibility model, yeah, it's key.
So let's unpack this. We have to start with the absolute bedrock, the fundamental building blocks of SAP BTP. These are the architectural elements that make everything else possible.
Exactly. At its core, SAP BTP is built on a multi-cloud foundation.
Okay.
This means its services aren't tied to one provider. They're available across major infrastructure providers like, AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, even Alibaba Cloud.
That flexibility is huge.
It is. And it also supports different development environments. Think Cloud Foundry for open source flexibility, ABAP for extending the core ERP, and Kaima for those modern Kubernetes native approaches. All of this gives you a broad choice of programming languages. And your central control panel for managing all of this. That's the SAP BTP cockpit.
So once you have this multi-cloud foundation, how do you actually organize your resources within it? What's the account model look like?
Okay. The account model is hierarchical. It's designed to give you a lot of control and segregation. It all starts with your global accounts. These aren't just abstract concepts. They represent your actual contract with SAP.
Right, the paperwork level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
From here, you manage your subaccounts, members, entitlements, which are basically your rights to use services, and quotas, which are the limits on that usage.
Okay.
Global accounts are independent of any specific region or development environment. And commercially, you've got two main ways to consume services: the flexible, pay-as-you-go, consumption-based model,
The flexible one?
or the more predictable, subscription-based model with a fixed cost.
Got it.
Moving down the hierarchy, you have subaccounts. These are your crucial operational units.
Right, where the work gets done.
This is where you actually deploy your applications, consume services, and manage subscriptions. Now, a key point here, and sometimes a source of confusion, is that each subaccount runs in exactly one region and one environment.
Okay, just one.
Just one. So it's a dedicated, isolated space for security, user management, and data management.
Okay, so that's the established structure. But I heard about newer features, like directories and labels.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really interesting for larger organizations, isn't it?
Absolutely. With Feature Set B, which is the newer, kind of more advanced capability set for global accounts, SAP introduced directories.
Ah.
Think of these as an optional but often really beneficial new hierarchical layer. It lets you group subaccounts.
Doping them up.
Yeah. And the aha here is that they offer a powerful way to organize your landscape, maybe for administrative reasons, like managing billing for different departments,
Right.
or separating environments geographically, grouping by specific business scenarios, applying resource limits, or even just for technical segregation.
How deep can you go?
You can create quite a structure, actually, up to 5 levels of directories.
Oh, okay.
Which is perfect for complex enterprises. And then you have labels. These are basically user-defined tags.
Like sticky notes.
Pretty much. They give you even more flexible organization, letting you categorize and filter things like directories, subaccounts, service instances, maybe for reporting or just internal housekeeping.
So putting that all together, how does that whole hierarchy define what you can actually do on the platform.
Well, it directly ties into your entitlements and quotas.
Okay.
An entitlement is simply your right to provision and consume specific resources or service plans. It's like permission to use a service.
Got it.
A quota, on the other hand, is the quantitative limit, the maximum amount of that resource you're allowed to consume.
The ceiling.
Exactly. Entitlements are managed at the subaccount or directory level, and they get distributed down from your global account. So your global account holder decides what your departments or, subaccounts are entitled to use and how much.
This brings us to a really critical point, and one that I think trips up a lot of people. The shared responsibility model. Who actually manages what on SAP BTP?
This model is absolutely fundamental, not just for BTP, but for cloud computing generally.
Right.
And the aha here is that it clearly defines what SAP is responsible for and what you, as the customer, are responsible for. SAP handles the underlying infrastructure, monitoring the platform itself, patching, updates, health checks, capacity management, even the operations of services like the SAP HAN database.
So the plumbing, basically.
A lot of the core plumbing, yeah. But, and this is crucial, your responsibilities extend significantly. You manage your global and sub-accounts, you create and configure them, distribute your resources, and most importantly, you are responsible for developing and operating your applications.
Oh, okay, so building and running them.
Exactly. That means deploying, managing user roles within your app, integrating it, monitoring your application's performance, troubleshooting its issues, and keeping your applications updated. It's a huge shift from traditional on-prem thinking.
Right, where you might expect the vendor to handle more of that.
Precisely. It's a true partnership, really.
It sounds like it, each party with a clearly defined role. So with these defined responsibilities, how do different types of people actually interact with the platform day to day?
Yeah, we generally distinguish between two main user types. First, platform users.
Okay.
These are typically your developers, administrators, operators, the people who manage the platform and its services directly.
The tech folks.
Right. Then you have business users. These are the end users of the applications you've built and deployed.
The people using the app.
Exactly. So member management, which is about assigning roles and access at the global or sub-account level, that's for platform users. User management, which deals with authentication and authorization within your deployed application itself, that's specifically for your business users.
Okay, clear distinction. And lastly, for these foundational elements, what are these environments and regions all about, and why do they matter so much?
Right. Environments are the actual platform as a service, the PaaS offerings, provided by SAP BTP, we mentioned them briefly, Cloud Foundry, ABA, Kaima, and also Neo. Each environment comes with its own specific tools and runtimes tailored for different ways of developing. What's cool now with Feature Set B is you can have multi-environment sub-accounts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, where Cloud Foundry, ABAP, and Kaima can all live together in one sub-account, which simplifies things quite a bit.
But not Neo.
Neo still typically requires its own sub-account, yeah. And then regions are the actual geographical locations where your applications are hosted.
Like Frankfurt or Virginia.
Exactly. You select a region when you create the sub-account, and this choice is strategic. You got to think about proximity to your users for performance, data privacy laws.
Like GDPR.
Precisely. And also which specific SAP BTP services are actually available in that region, because not all services are everywhere.
Right, that makes sense. Now that we've laid out those foundational elements, let's see how organizations strategically use these building blocks. We're moving into how you plan and set up your SAP BTP landscape. This is where you really lay the groundwork, right?
Indeed. And the first crucial step here is establishing a clear governance model.
Okay.
This means defining your organizational setup, clarifying team structures. The best practices strongly recommend two main types of teams. First, your cloud development teams.
Dev teams.
Right. And they should really embrace a DevOps approach.
Dev and Ops.
Exactly. This means they're responsible not just for developing applications, but also for operating them, ensuring regular maintenance, resolving issues, like checking if the UI controls they used are still supported by the latest SAP UI5 version, things like that.
Okay, so full lifecycle ownership for the dev teams.
Yeah.
What's the other team?
Then you have the cloud administration team, often called a center of excellence, or COE.
The COE, right.
Their role is absolutely crucial. They define, set up, and maintain the overall cloud landscape. They're the guardians of stability and security, and they enable all the other developers.
So they manage the platform, not the specific apps.
Exactly. They focus on the big picture, the landscape health, not the life cycle of individual applications. This team is also typically responsible for creating vital documents, like an onboarding document, a security document, and a services catalog.
It makes perfect sense to have that central oversight. And that leads directly to creating an effective onboarding process for any new development project, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. The onboarding process for development projects ensures new projects are consistently tracked, documented, and, importantly, compliant with your standards.
So everyone's on the same page.
Right. The onboarding document itself should capture key details: application name, owners, planned go-live date, data flow, programming languages, its Git repo URL, things like that. Crucially, a security document template should be filled out for every application. This details things like data classification, compliance needs, connected systems, the auth concepts, auditing requirements.
That sounds thorough.
It needs to be. And finally, the services catalog is incredibly valuable. This is how the cloud admin team can summarize and even automate the provision of common services for developers,
Like what?
like adding standard destinations, creating build plans, maybe granting read access to production logs. It just streamlines everything for the dev teams.
So once these teams and processes are in place, how do you map all of that onto the core account model we talked about? How do these global accounts, directories, sub-accounts actually play out in practice?
Yeah, this is where you tailor the account model to your specific needs. And what's often fascinating here is the almost universally recommended best practice: creating at least 3 distinct sub-accounts for your application lifecycle.
Dev, test, prod.
Exactly. Development, testing, and production. This separation is key because it allows for dedicated user and data management for each stage. It reduces risks and just makes things much cleaner.
Makes sense.
The guide we're looking at offers several practical account model examples. For instance, some orgs combine Cloud Foundry and Neo environments, maybe using SAP Business Application Studio now, which runs in Cloud Foundry, to work with Neo systems.
Okay.
Another approach is using a sub-account as a kind of base template. This can work well for highly DevOps-driven organizations, but it absolutely requires strong governance.
Right. Need tight controls there.
Definitely. You could also have separate sub-accounts dedicated just to data and API management. This centralizes back-end access and can even allow shared SAP HN databases across projects, which helps with costs.
Cost efficiency. Nice.
Yeah. For CI/CD pipelines, a common setup is dedicated dev sub-accounts feeding into a central test and production sub-account. Or, for larger companies, you might see stage development per functional area.
Like HR, IT, sales.
Exactly, each having their own dev, test, and prod setups. This allows for things like multiple SaaS subscriptions if needed and distributed administration.
So lots of flexibility depending on the organization.
Tons. And with feature set B, those directories add another powerful layer. You can structure them per subsidiary, per location, per functional area. When you implement this, it's highly recommended to define consistent naming conventions, use lowercase letters, hyphens maybe even give sub-accounts and their Cloud Foundry orgs identical names just for clarity.
Yeah, keeping things organized. Now, let's talk about something absolutely non-negotiable. Security and compliance. How do you keep everything locked down on SAP BTP?
Right. A robust security and compliance model isn't just a best practice, it's foundational. For general security, SAP BTP operates within an isolated network protected by firewalls, a DMZ, and TLS encryption for all communication.
Standard stuff, but essential.
Essential. And a critical component we mentioned earlier is the cloud connector.
The on-prem agent.
Exactly. That lightweight on-premise agent that establishes a secure tunnel between your cloud apps and your on-premise systems.
Yeah.
And the aha here is that reverse invoke mechanism.
Right. It calls out.
It calls out. So your on-premise system initiates the connection to the cloud, creating a secure outgoing tunnel. You don't need to punch holes in your firewall for inbound connections.
Which simplifies network security immensely.
Hugely. For identity management, using SAML or OpenID Connect for single sign-on, SSO, is highly recommended.
Makes life easier for users.
Absolutely. And SAP Cloud Identity Services Identity Authentication can act as a central hub, especially if you have multiple corporate identity providers.
Okay.
When it comes to authentication and authorization, remember the platform users, devs, admins get access via member management. Business users, the end users, authenticate and get authorized within the deployed application itself. For connecting to remote systems, you have various destination authentication methods. Things like app-to-apps SO, principal propagation for SAP systems, OAuth to S ML bearer assertion for third-party systems. But A strong caution here.
Oh,
Avoid using basic authentication and OAuth to password in production environments. Just don't. Security risk.
got it. Basic auth is a no-go for prod. What about access rights for the platform users themselves?
Yeah, good point. The best practice here is to grant your cloud development teams access only to development subaccounts and spaces.
Least privilege.
Exactly. And be very aware of the space developer role in Cloud Foundry. It grants pretty broad permissions, so use it carefully. Access to testing and production subaccounts should primarily be restricted to the cloud administration team.
The COE again?
Right. And ideally, tasks in those environments should be automated to minimize manual intervention and potential errors.
Makes sense.
And finally, for data protection and privacy, while SAP software provides features to help, compliance with regulations like GDPR is ultimately your responsibility as the customer. You really need careful legal consultation there.
Okay, super important point. SAP provides tools, but compliance is on you.
That's the bottom line.
All right, once your foundation is rock solid with all that setup and security, that's when you actually get to build. Let's explore the tools, languages, methodologies that empower development on SAP BTP.
Exactly. And there's a rich ecosystem here. If we connect this to the bigger picture of modern SAP development, the SAP Cloud Application Programming Model, or CAP, is highly recommended.
Okay.
It provides a consistent end-to-end full-stack development experience. It simplifies things with tailored languages, libraries, APIs specifically for SAP BTP.
And the recommended IDE.
SAP Business Application Studio, that's the way to go for CAP development.
Got it.
Now, in terms of programming languages, SAP BTP is quite open. Various languages are supported depending on the environment you choose: Cloud Foundry, ABAP, Kaima, Neo. You've got options.
Flexibility again.
Yeah. And to truly speed up your development cycles, continuous integration and delivery, or CI/CD, pipelines are absolutely key.
Automate all the things.
Pretty much. They automate building, testing, deploying code changes. You have options here too. SAP Continuous Integration and Delivery is a ready-to-use service, no separate infrastructure needed.
Easy button.
Kind of. Or you can opt for Project Piper, which provides open-source Jenkins pipelines that offers higher flexibility, but it's maybe more for experienced users.
Right. More control, more setup.
Exactly. Beyond those, key tools include the BTP cockpit, the Cloud Connector, various command line interfaces, CLIs, the BTP SDKs for mobile and cloud, and SAP Business Application Studio, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And for applications to talk to each other, APIs are fundamental. They facilitate secure data and service exchange. You can discover many pre-built ones on the SAP API Business Hub or manage your own using SAP BTP API management.
So if you're building something really complex, maybe with lots of moving parts, different technologies, how do you manage that whole life cycle?
That's precisely where multi-target applications, or MTAs, come in.
MTA.
Yeah. This is a crucial concept for deploying complex cloud apps made of multiple interdependent components, maybe different languages, tools, target runtimes.
Like a microservices app?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
The aha here is that MTAs package everything into one single bundle.
One package to deploy.
Exactly.
Good.
It ensures a combined lifecycle, makes deployment way easier, and allows for automated management. And this approach also beautifully supports multi-tenancy and provider-subscriber scenarios.
Explain that a bit more.
So this means providers could be SAP partners, could be a central IT team, can build and deploy one application
Okay.
that can then be subscribed to by multiple consumers, maybe different tenants, maybe different subsidiaries. It centralizes the lifecycle and resource management. It's a game changer for building scalable solutions or SaaS apps on BTP.
That makes perfect sense for streamlining complex deployments and managing multiple users or customers. So how do you ensure your applications are not just functional, but also robust? And how do they play nice with existing SAP solutions?
Right. Good questions. For robustness, we focus on developing resilient applications. Best practices here are all about stability and high availability.
Like redundancy.
Exactly. Like setting up multiple instances of your application across different availability zones within the Cloud Foundry environment. This prevents a single point of failure.
All right.
And when it comes to leveraging your existing SAP investment, SAPBTP truly shines in extending existing SAP solutions. It provides the services and tools to develop new apps, extend existing ones, or integrate business applications with standard SAP solutions like S/4HANA Cloud or SuccessFactors.
Without messing up the core system.
Precisely. without disrupting your core processes. This can involve automated or manual configuration and covers use cases from simple UI extensions and adding enhanced functionality right through to advanced analytics and even building entire SaaS ecosystems on top of your SAP landscape.
Wow, quite powerful. And before you even think about deploying any of this, how do you make sure the quality is absolutely there?
It's all about diligent testing. Performing UI, usability, and unit tests is vital.
Test, test, test.
You got it. Unit tests are your smallest, most granular tests, run locally, often using QNet for SAP UI5 apps. They catch issues early.
Okay.
Then you move to integration tests, which are performed on your dedicated test infrastructure. These verify the interplay of multiple components, maybe across a hybrid landscape, ensuring all the pieces work together as expected. For SAP UI5, this often involves OPI5 testing framework.
You've built it, you've tested it, you've secured it.
Yeah.
Now, the moment of truth. How do you get it out to your users? And perhaps more importantly, how do you ensure it stays available once it's live?
Okay, first, deploying applications. You have a few options. You can deploy manually, but that's less common now. More typically, it's through a managed approach using CI/CD pipelines or transport management, especially for those multi-target applications we talked about.
Right, the MTAs.
Yeah. For simpler single-module apps, there might be native deployment options specific to their programming language and environment.
So what are the main strategies for actually moving applications from, say, dev through to prod environments?
The best practices offer several effective delivery options for propagating your apps between subaccounts dev to test to prod.
Okay.
CI/CD remains a primary recommendation. It allows for automated multi-deployment, maybe even to different data centers, ensuring consistency.
Automation is key.
Absolutely. For more controlled and audited propagation, you have transport and change management options. This includes the SAP Cloud Transport Management Service.
TMS in the cloud.
Kind of, yeah. It handles both cloud and hybrid scenarios for MTAs and other content formats. You can also use the Enhanced Change and Transport System, CTS Plus Playlug, especially for ABAP-centric or hybrid scenarios, mainly for MTAs.
Okay.
And these transport services can even be combined with CI/CD for sort of the best of both worlds, automation plus control and auditing.
Gotcha. Manual is still an option, but...
Yeah, manual deployment is an option, but generally less efficient and, more prone to error.
Right. This raises a super important question for any cloud application. How do you deal with unexpected outages? How do you keep things available?
That's where implementing failover becomes absolutely critical for business continuity.
High availability.
Exactly. The core concept is using a multi-data center setup. Typically, an active-passive model works well for applications that don't have persistent data stored directly on the platform itself, like many SAP UI5 or HTML5 apps.
Okay, active-passive. How does that work?
First step is to deploy your application in 2 data centers. You designate one as primary active, the other as secondary passive. Traffic normally goes to the active one.
Right.
With the passive one just sitting there, ready to take over if the active one has downtime. The strategic insight here is choosing your regions wisely.
Like close together but separate.
Ideally, yeah. Geographically close to your users and backends, like Frankfurt and Amsterdam for Europe, but in separate physical availability zones.
Makes sense. Then what?
Next, you need to keep the 2 applications in sync. This can be done manually, but better is using a CI/CD pipeline for multi-deployment, or maybe a combination of tools like the Solution Export Wizard from Neo and the Cloud Transport Management Service.
Keep them identical.
Essentially, yes. And it's a good practice to maybe visually mark the backup version if its functionality is slightly reduced so users know.
Okay. How do you know when to fail over?
You need to define how a failover is detected. You specify the conditions that trigger the automatic switch. Maybe checking for predefined maximum read timeouts or specific HTTP error codes from the active site.
So automated detection.
Ideally, yes. Finally, you must decide on the failback. For active-passive setups, switching back to the primary once it's healthy again is usually mandatory and often user-initiated.
So you manually trigger the switchback.
Often, yes. And again, visually differentiating the primary and secondary apps helps users know where they are.
Good tip. What about data integrity in all this? Who's responsible for backing up your data and configurations?
Right. For core services like SAPCloud, PostgreSQL on BTP, the Kaima environment runtime SAP manages automated data backups. They copy data to additional availability zones or even regions for resilience.
So SAP handles the core data backup.
For those specific services, yes. However, and this is a key aha moment for many other services, you are responsible for backing up your service-specific configurations.
Like what kind of configuration?
Vital things like your cloud connector setup, your destinations, any X.509 certificates you've uploaded, custom roles you've defined.
Ah, okay, the configuration around the services.
Exactly. Doing this diligently allows you to restore your systems quickly if something gets accidentally deleted or misconfigured. Don't forget this.
Okay, noted. Back up your configs. Now, beyond the individual application, how does SAP BTP really play with others in a broader IT landscape? How do you integrate it effectively?
Yeah, that's all about integrating your application. And the cloud connector is absolutely fundamental here again.
Back to the connector.
Yep. To reiterate, it's that lightweight link establishing the secure SSL tunnel between your cloud apps and your on-prem systems using that clever reverse invoke.
Right, calling out.
Exactly. Use cases are broad. Simple point-to-point connectivity, data replication, and integrating with services like SAP Cloud integration.
Okay, speaking of which, SAP Cloud integration.
Yeah, SAP Cloud Integration, formerly CPI, is key for orchestrating end-to-end process integration across both cloud and on-premise applications. It handles message processing, transformations, routing, supports loads of connectivity types.
It's the middleware.
It's SAP's core cloud integration middleware, yes. And to make integration even smoother, especially for common hybrid scenarios, there's the Cloud Integration Automation Service.
Automation service.
Yeah, this provides guided workflows that actually automate many common integration setup tasks, significantly reducing manual effort and potential mistakes.
Oh, that sounds useful.
It can be, yeah.
So once all those connections are made, all the integrations are set up, what kind of testing is needed then?
Once components are connected, it's time for performing integration tests. Unlike unit tests focusing on tiny parts, integration tests verify the interplay of multiple components.
Making sure everything talks correctly.
It's exactly, potentially spanning across your entire hybrid landscape, cloud apps, cloud connector, on-prem systems, cloud integration flows. These are crucial and should always be run on your dedicated test infrastructure to ensure all the building blocks work together and meet the business requirements.
Makes sense. Test the whole chain.
Test the whole chain.
Okay, the application is built, tested, integrated. Now, the grand finale, going live. And then critically, how do you keep it all running smoothly once it's out there in the real world?
Right, going live. Once all your testing, security checks, compliance reviews are complete, your applications are ready for production. It's a good practice for that cloud administration team, the COE, to define specific timeframes or maintenance windows for deployments to production just to minimize disruption. For internal apps, embedding them within the SAP Fiori Launchpad provides that central, familiar access point for users.
Good stop shop.
Kinda, yeah. For authentication and authorization, you need to ensure business users are properly authenticated, maybe via SAP ID service, maybe an external IDP, and that they have the appropriate application-based authorizations assigned within your deployed application. And for apps with users scattered globally, web acceleration becomes really important.
Getting content closer to the user.
Exactly. Content delivery networks, CDNs like Akamai or Cloudflare, can significantly improve load performance by caching static content geographically closer to users.
What do you need to watch out for with CDNs?
Key considerations include ensuring secure transport, always use HTTPS. Be cautious with content caching, only cache static content, make sure it respects cache control headers, and avoid caching anything dynamic or user-specific. Maybe configure location blocking if needed, though that has caveats.
Got it. Cache static, not dynamic. And once it's live, how do you keep a continuous eye on everything? Make sure it's performing okay.
That's where robust monitoring applications and services comes in. For the whole hybrid landscape monitoring, tools like SAP Solution Manager, Focused Run for SAP Solution Manager, and the newer SAP Cloud ALM can monitor your entire integrated cloud and on-prem setup.
Solman and Cloud ALM.
Right. They cover things like integration health, user experience monitoring, trace analysis, exception management across the board. For native monitoring within BTP itself, Cloud Foundry offers the SAP Application Logging Service and the CF Logs command for getting app logs, plus health checks. Neo has monitoring in the cockpit and integrations with tools like Dynatrace.
Right.
For overall platform and service availability, like is BTP itself up and running? Resources like the SAP Trust Center, Cloud System Notification Subscriptions, and the SAP Cloud Availability Center provide real-time status and notifications directly from SAP.
So you know if SAP has an issue.
Exactly. And to be truly proactive about your application's issues, the SAP Alert Notification Service for SAP BTP is really useful.
Alerting.
Yeah. It lets you subscribe to events from BTP services, from the underlying hyperscalers, even third-party tools, and then receive alerts through various channels, email, Slack, Microsoft Teams, or even directly into your ticketing system or solution manager.
So you get notified before users start calling.
That's the goal.
Okay, so the application is live, it's being monitored,
Right.
but the journey doesn't end there, does it? It's a continuous cycle.
It absolutely does not end there. The final stages of the life cycle involve continuous improvement and eventually retirement.
Right.
A strategic point to note is SAP's clear direction towards tighter integration with hyperscalers. So if you're still in the Neo environment, there are comprehensive migration guides available for migrating from Neo to multi-cloud environments like Cloud Foundry or Kaima.
Okay, moving off Neo.
That's the strategic direction, yes. And when an application is truly no longer needed, it's crucial to retire your application properly. Don't just delete it.
Why not?
Well, you need to make sure you meet all data retention policies and compliance requirements first. You can't just pull the plug instantly.
Ah, right. Data retention.
Exactly. Most of the time, though, the focus isn't retirement. It's on improving and maintaining your application. Your cloud development team has ongoing responsibilities here. Regular verification because libraries and platform components get updated, right? Ensuring ongoing compliance, fixing bugs, improving the user experience based on feedback, continually refining your alerting and automating recurring operational tasks. Tools like SAP Automation Pilot can help with that last work.
Automating operations.
Yeah. And for new deployments of updates, you can adopt advanced strategies in Cloud Foundry like blue-green deployment.
Blue-green.
Yeah, where you deploy the new version alongside the old one. You can test the new one with live traffic or a subset and then switch over instantly with zero downtime for users. Slick. It is. And the feature flag service is also great. It lets you enable or disable specific features within your application in production without having to redeploy the whole thing. Great for gradual rollouts or A/B testing.
Very cool. So if you, the listener, take away just one thing from this entire deep dive, what would you say it is?
Just one thing. I'd say the biggest takeaway is that SAP BTP is a living, breathing platform. You must stay up to date. Regularly check the release notes, engage with the SAP community online. Continuous learning isn't just a suggestion, it's really key to long-term success.
Couldn't agree more. We've covered a tremendous amount of ground today, taking a really comprehensive deep dive into the best practices for SAP BTP. We've explored everything from those foundational account structures and critical security models right through to the nitty-gritty details of development, deployment, and crucial ongoing operations.
And if we connect this all back to the bigger picture, it becomes abundantly clear that true success on SAP BTP isn't just about writing and deploying code. It's really about a holistic approach. Carefully planning your organizational setup, your account structure, your security from the absolute outset, and then fostering a culture of continuous delivery, resilience, and operational excellence throughout the entire application lifecycle. That's the real insight, I think.
Absolutely. And here's a thought for you, the listener, to mull over as you go about your day. What possibilities truly open up when you start viewing your cloud applications, not just as pieces of software, but as living, evolving digital assets? Assets that require careful nurturing, strategic governance, and a really robust support system throughout their entire existence.
Something to think about.
Definitely. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.